welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Things.
And we're back, man. Episode 393.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it. Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny got a little backlash after it was announced that he was doing a Super Bowl. Last week, we mentioned it at the very end of the podcast, not knowing that there would be this many type of reactions, right? So he responded to it on SNL, Saturday Night Live, and this is what he had to say.
I have a little bit more disagreement.
You might not know these, but I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show, and I think everyone is happy about it. Even Fox News.
Bad Bunny is my favorite
musician,
and he should be the next president.
I know that people all around the world who love my music are also happy, especialmente todos los latinos. Todos los latinos y las latinas en el mundo entero y aquí en los Estados Unidos, todas las personas que han trabajado para abrir puertas. Más que un logro mío, es un logro de todos, demostrando que nuestra huella y nuestra aportación en este país nadie nunca la podrá sacar ni borrar. If you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn. You might not.
All right. I thought it was a pretty cool way to respond to it. But yeah, I don't put that on the list of things to be angry about. We got real pressing issues going on in America, and people are going back and forth about Bad Bunny. I think the funny thing people are saying, like, we should have got an American artist. It's an American sport, an American tradition. And it's like they ran down a list of all the people that have performed in the Super Bowl that were not from the United States. Like U2 is, who's another one? The Who. The Who aren't, I can't remember who else, but there was a list of people that were not from the United States that performed in the Super Bowl. So it kind of just like nullifies your point, for one. And then two, people are saying like we want an American artist when Puerto Rico is U.S. soil. So it's kind of hilarious. I just think that at the end of the day, I think that the homework assignment for people would be to get a globe and spin that motherfucker a few times and learn where things are.
Right.
Because to say like, and there was also, hold on, I have to put this on here. This is another one. It was a conversation between Tommy Lauren and I forgot the name of the guest she had on, and they spoke briefly about this.
So Kyren Lacy.
But do you think Bad Bunny is a good choice for the Super Bowl?
I'm not that knowledgeable about him, but it seems fine, and I don't know why it's a big deal. Seems like a great American artist, so sure.
He's not an American artist, but
he's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Yeah, you don't think you have any problem with him saying like the ICE is? Well, I'm sure you don't. Mother effers and sons of and that he's not going to perform here due to immigration.
America agrees with him on that.
You think so?
The majority of Americans think ICE has gone too far. They've watched videos of 79-year-old business owners be slammed to the ground and their ribs broken by ICE. So I think the American people are probably on board with that message at this point, Tommy.
But do you think Bad Bunny is a good choice?
Yeah. Well, outside of the extra conversations they were having, I don't know if people know that Puerto Rico is U.S. soil. I think that a lot of people don't know that. They just think it's just another country.
Yeah.
What people don't understand, places like Hawaii may be on an island, but it's still considered, U.S. territory. There was a show called, you remember Hawaii 5-0? It was called Hawaii 5-0 for a reason. It was the 50th state. Right?
I thought it was because of the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Hawaii 5-0, but it was the 50th state. Now, I could proof check myself.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's 5-0 because of the police.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a police show. Hawaii 5-0. See, we proof check each other here. Hawaii 5-0. Now let's try this again. Was Hawaii the 50th state?
Well, that's true, but I'm saying the name of it is. I don't think that's.
Yes, Hawaii is. Keith is wrong. Hawaii is official. I'm fucking with you, man.
What?
Hawaii 5-0. Yes, 5-0 is another name for the police, but I think it's like a double entendre. It could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, goddamn it. Yeah, Bad Bunny.
You just Kendrick Lamar, Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah. This is. If I just imagine Bad Bunny playing loudly, just blaring over Keith's voice right now. Oi, oi, come con novia. All right.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm be real. I'm not a fan of the music, and not in a way where like I've heard it and don't like it. In a way where like I just haven't heard it and I'm not really interested in listening to it. I know that he does have a large fan base. But I'm just not really. I'm not the person. Like I'm not his target audience, which is perfectly fine. But me personally, I would much rather have seen someone else.
Drowning out Keith with Bad Bunny. We don't want to hear it. I'm playing. Go ahead, Keith.
I would much rather see somebody else, like perform. But it's not a racist thing. It's not a Spanish thing. It's not a thing because he's Puerto Rican or whatever. It's just because I'm interested in seeing people at the Super Bowl that I'm interested in seeing, or that I, actually listen to. But other than that, like it's 15, 20 minutes of music.
Absolutely.
Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it. And then, I'm always more interested in seeing the game. Like halftime show is for like the
people that really don't care about football too much.
The ones that's going for the food and the party of it. I'm interested in seeing ideally my team there or just a good football game, and the halftime show is like cool.
Even though I have an understanding of Spanish, it's not. There's still a little bit of a language barrier there. However, when something is objectively good, I'm always gonna say it. Like that's the thing. Like I feel like we could objectively look at the Super Bowl, whether it's going to be in Spanish. Let's be clear. There's no reason for him to like literally sing his songs in English. That's just not going to happen. And if it's dope, and I'm like, hold on, like this shit was high energy. It was super dope. I think that everybody or people that have a taste for music, they'll be able to say that. Like I like Kendra's performance. I wasn't crazy about it, but I thought it was dope.
But I think. I don't know if he's going to change anyone's mind. I think aesthetically, like if you're watching like, the lights and the energy and stuff, I think you can say like it was a cool show. But, I don't think maybe some people might like start to listen to his music more. Usually what happens after the Super Bowl, like the streams and stuff go up and people are introduced to new music.
Yeah.
But I think people are already kind of going in hating it. So I don't see many.
Yeah.
It's just like American politics, right?
Absolutely.
There's only a few swing states, and there's probably going to be a few swing people that are like, oh, I just came, to watch the football game, but, I want to download his album now or something like that.
Yeah, I think that listeners like us are the ones that would probably, are more likely to be more interested in somebody's music or something because we're objective listeners. But most people aren't. They're just like, there's nothing American about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear Funny Bunny anymore. I don't know where he's from. All right. Why do they got a rabbit making music now? It's like, it's not an actual rabbit. It's just his performer's name. Like, no, they got bunnies up there. Why do they got Bugs Bunny up on stage? Shouldn't he be in a cartoon or something like that? Yeah. It's like, this guy just does not want anything to do with this shit. That's not a person you're going to sway them at all.
Right.
They're not the ones.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bad Bunny.
I think for me too, like, it may be because she passed away, but I think it would have been interesting to see what it would have looked like if Selena had rose into that.
That's crazy.
Ilk, I guess.
That would have been nuts because Selena is different.
She has both. Like she made that trend, but she started off singing Spanish music, even though she didn't really know Spanish.
Right.
And then she transitioned more to like American pop music.
Yeah, she did. Like her Spanish was not like what do you call it? I'm not saying it wasn't fluent. She spoke fluent Spanish.
No, she didn't speak Spanish that well. At least from
she had interviews in Spanish.
At least from the music, they were saying like she didn't speak Spanish that well.
Like sing it well or what?
Like speak it, like in terms of like that was a part. I mean, that was a huge part of the movie.
Yeah, but I've seen multiple interviews of her speaking completely in Spanish.
I mean, that may be the case, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of when she first started, like, that was a thing, like, in terms of her making her music and stuff.
Yeah, well.
Even, like, there's a part in the movie where, like, she's she starts out saying something in Spanish and then she changes it to English because she didn't really know what to say.
Yeah, she's probably like she's like almost just a step above J-Lo's English. I mean J-Lo Spanish, because they showed Jennifer Lopez speaking Spanish in the interview, and she was like getting kind of like not choked up, caught up. But then fucking Ben Affleck was doing full interviews in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, Ben Affleck speaks super fluent. You ever heard him speak Spanish? Oh man, that guy speaks. He speaks. I would like. There's different dialects. I would say he speaks Mexican Spanish because of when him and what's the other Matt Damon. Him and Matt Damon, they went on a retreat like to Mexico when they were I think they were in high school, and they were gone for like months, and they ended up picking up Spanish.
I'm learning Spanish out there.
And some actors done that. Another one, I think is it Gwyneth Paltrow? That's not Gwyneth Paltrow. Fuck, I can't remember her name, but she speaks fluent Spanish too, and you're like, what the heck? There's some people that speak Spanish that you wouldn't even know. There's a what's that? The singer Tank. He speaks Spanish.
Tank, the R&B artist.
The R&B artist, yeah. And I was like, that's different. Yeah, I think that's another thing too. Being bilingual is something that would be dope just to keep to yourself, just to keep it in your arsenal. So when you go to certain places, you just start busting out speaking Spanish.
Yeah,
you probably you become one of the locals. Yeah, but no, man. I'll say this: I don't think that you probably need to know Spanish if you just going off vibes. Like if you just going off vibes, you like, okay, this is fire. I could like this, even if I'm not gonna go to Spotify and download this whole playlist. I'm just objectively enjoying this until the game comes back on.
Right.
But I don't get it though. I'm kind of still a little confused. I don't know if it's anything to be on the fence about. But hey, man, I guess in America, the media is going to keep everybody in a 24-hour news cycle. What do you call that? Sensory overload.
Yeah, I think it kind of sucks though. Like, I think the biggest thing is that the NFL is trying to make an international sport out of football, and you can see that because every year they have a handful of games that are international games. So they'll have games in London and Mexico and all these different, international games that they play, which I think is cool. That's part of their business. So it only makes sense to have an artist like Bad Bunny on the thing. I did hear, and who knows if this is true or not, but they were saying that both Taylor Swift and Adele turned down the Super Bowl, for whatever reason. Some people were saying that Taylor Swift wanted like rights or something to the footage and audio or whatever, and who knows? I feel like what happens in the industry is like rumors get around and people start to share rumors as facts. So I don't want to say that, but it does make it would. I think that was like the artist that was going around the most. So I can understand maybe her turning it down. I just don't know if it's for those reasons. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, the NFL is trying to expand their brand, and that this is kind of like very in line with that. I think they're looking at sports like soccer and basketball and trying to replicate what they're doing on an international level. So yeah, I could see.
I think you're right. I think we're both right with that Selena conversation we had. It says yes, Selena Quintanilla was once a fluent Spanish speaker, learning the language as a child to connect to the Latino community, although she later lost some fluency due to the demands of her English language career. Her father taught her to sing in Spanish, and she continued to release successful Spanish language albums throughout her career. So I guess she lost some fluency. She spoke like low-key with a little Texas accent, too.
Yeah.
Like it would like come out.
Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, yep. Because what's the football player? He got her tattooed on his leg. Von Miller. It's Von Miller from Corpus Christi. He got a big old Selena tattoo on his leg.
Oh, that's fire. I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know what's wild about like Tupac and like Selena is like I see like high school kids today wearing those shirts.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I played the movie last year in my class, and
really,
that was like kids that knew the words.
Wow,
like knew the words to the song, not the songs, but obviously the songs, but to the movie. Like they knew certain lines coming up, they quoting them and stuff like that.
Wow,
like, that's Selena. All that stuff.
Oh, the dude got in an accident with her or something.
Yeah, he's like, I ripped off the bumper and stuff.
That's wild, yo. Can you? I think that you hit it on the head with that one. I felt like an artist like that would probably be bigger than a Bad Bunny because they have crossover records.
Yeah. It might have been a little different too, because she is from Texas, you know. But I think when she came out, she kind of presented herself more like you would have probably thought she was from Mexico though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though she was from Texas, she from like deep South Texas.
Yeah.
So you know, that's kind of, you know, what you thought. But then you kind of learn like, oh, she's actually from, you know, Corpus Christi.
I think that it would have been different too, because Selena was in a different era. Like she had yams in the time where nobody really had yams like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine Selena at the Super Bowl yammed up like that?
She had llamas.
Yeah. So what?
That's Spanish for yams.
Dos llamanos. Yeah, that definitely would have been different. Yeah, but rest in peace to Selena, man. I don't want to be disrespectful talking about. I don't want to be talking about deceased yams. We don't want to do that. I think that like me growing up, I had like a multitude of different women that I had like. I think when you were a kid, you got to have like innocent like crushes on like, you know, girls your age or girls in media or whatever. Like me watching like Fresh Prince, I liked Hillary and Ashley. I used to like Topanga and the motherfucking Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
The white girl.
She passed away or something.
She did? You sure?
Yeah, I think she did.
What? No way.
I might be tripping. I
Nigga,
don't want to
break my heart like that,
Yeah.
man.
I think
Pink Ranger.
She might not be.
Tommy died.
Yeah, that might be who I'm thinking about.
Man, don't do me like that, man.
Kimberly Hart. That's her name.
Yeah, she's still around. Hold on. Let me see here. Her name is Amy Jo Johnson. I think she did a cameo in some movie. She's 50. Is she still alive?
Amy Jo Johnson. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh, man, you done killed. You trying to
Yeah,
kill
it was
off the
Tommy
Pink
that
one?
I was thinking about.
Yeah, R.I.P. Tommy, man.
Dang. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she 54. Yeah, shout out to them.
54, yeah.
Yeah, we got to have like legit like crushes on girls that was not like sexual like crushes either. Like Brandy and freaking who was another one? Oh, this is before your time. Kelly Kapowski.
Oh, from Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lisa wasn't as popular. She was cute too, but Lisa her name was something Voorhees in real life. Something Voorhees. But her
Oh, the black girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up with multicultural crushes.
Yeah. I remember that. Man, I remember when that Power Rangers movie came out. Did you ever see that one?
Which one?
It was
With the originals?
Yeah, with the original cast, where they had like the ninja suits on. They was fighting the little, what was it? There was like some slime or something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Every
That
time
was
they,
fire.
what's crazy to me is when I used to watch Power Rangers, every time they got hit, they chest would like explode with dynamite or something. It'd be like sparks flying out, like oh.
Yeah, I heard, and I don't know if it's true. It might be true. I think that Power Rangers was an American version of a Japanese or like a Chinese show.
Oh,
so
really?
what I heard was that they actually filmed like the stuff without them fighting. All of that stuff was filmed like in America.
Whoa, wow.
And then all the fighting stuff was filmed like in Japan, and then they would just like, you know, like add that to the American film stuff. So I don't know if that's true or not. You got to fact check it.
I mean, whoever was playing the Rangers knew real karate, bro.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is the Rangers back in the day was like politically correct. Like the Black Ranger was black. The Pink Ranger was,
I don't know if that's politically correct.
I don't know, bro, but
Because the Yellow Ranger being
the Yellow Ranger
is
was
crazy.
Asian.
Yeah.
And the Pink Ranger was white.
That's what I didn't like when they did the remake, like the latest version that came out in like 20-something teens or whatever. When they switched it up because they made the black dude the Blue Ranger, and then, you know, and I get I think sometimes we're too politically correct.
Yeah, and they would like say little stuff like the Black Ranger be like, "Oh, baby mama." I was like, oh man. And the Green Ranger was green because he was Mexican. Yeah, the Asian girl, she was yellow, and then the white girl, she was the Pink Ranger.
That's kind
The Red Ranger.
the pink one is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the Red Ranger, like that was like probably the only one that like just was
It
like
was kind of neutral.
like neutral.
That was racial neutral.
He was just racially neutral. Everybody else was kind of like racially aligned with like the stereotype. Yeah, I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man.
Shout out to the Power Rangers.
Shout out to the Rangers, man. All right, switching gears. Kind of very unfortunate, sad news. Let's get into it. Late NFL hopeful Kyren Lacy's attorney releases bombshell videos that proves LSU star was innocent months after his suicide. So for those that don't know, there was a defensive back. I believe he was a defensive back, correct?
I thought he was a receiver.
Probably was a receiver.
Yeah, I think he was a receiver.
Okay. So Kyren Lacy, I think he was a receiver. Kyren Lacy was supposed to go to the NFL draft, but he was involved in an accident. I think there was a 78-year-old man that lost his life, I believe. And they were trying to charge him with that crime. He was uninvited to the NFL draft because of that. And then shortly after this all came out, he took his own life. And videos proved his innocence just recently, but it was too little too late because the young man took his life. And I feel like here's a good video to describe what happened to Kyren Lacy.
I was sitting here minding.
I am sick to my stomach seeing what happened.
Hold on. What we got here?
This is Kyren Lacy, a former LSU football star who took his own life one day before a grand jury indictment for negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. The crash he was charged with causing killed a 78-year-old man, and because of that, not only was his entire career completely on the line, but his life was on the line. Video was released on Friday that shows not only was he nearly 100 yards behind the crash when it happened, but a police officer's body cam footage shows him coaching a witness on what to say to implicate Lacy in the crash.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger.
I'm going to show you that available video of the crash and then Lacy's car approaching afterward.
At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did, in fact, pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. He was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards.
He was about to be indicted on these charges. His entire future as not only a college football player, but an NFL prospect was gone. He was staring down the barrel of prison time rather than a career in football and everything that he'd ever worked for a car crash and a death that he was not responsible for. And the cops knew it, and now he is gone and cannot be vindicated beyond us now knowing that he had nothing to do with it. There's not a lot for me to say here other than this is...
All right. So what you guys take from that is that's everything that happened. I think that there needs to be criminal charges brought against that officer for coercion. This is textbook coercion. He coerced one of the people involved in the car accident to say something and make a statement that was false. And these officers need to understand that you can change the course of someone's life with that little lie that you fucking told. Who knows why that happened? Who knows why he did that? Maybe he spoke to Kyren and maybe Kyren wasn't so pleasant. Like, what's going on? I have nothing to do with this. Why are you bothering me? And then he said, you know what? I got something for you. Because you got to understand, we look at police officers and we're like, you know, they're typically good people. They're not doing this. What I can tell you is 100% of the time, a cop is a human being. Human beings are capable of anything. And in this case, we seen that this motherfucker literally coerced somebody into doing this. And instead of going to the NFL draft, he ended up killing himself. He ended up committing suicide. You got to understand, when you are a 23, 24-year-old young man and an event like that happens to you and you've waited your whole life to have this experience of playing in the highest, the apex of football, which is the NFL, and that gets taken away from you, you're uninvited. So now you think, well, maybe I might have a chance, but then this accident happens. When someone exchanges prison time for the NFL, can you imagine what was going on through that young man's mind? I mean, if it happens to a man like me, I'm 40. I'm willing to fight for my freedom, right? But when you're only 20 something years old, you may not think you have you may not have an out.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's too late. If I'm the family of Kyren Lacy, I am suing that police department for everything they have.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. You can't bring my son back, but I want you to hurt. And I want that fucking officer fired. I think that in this country, whenever we let officers off from committing crimes, what we're doing is we're just trying to make a point that the judicial system isn't that bad. And sometimes it is. It's very unfair. Remember what happened with Rodney King? They acquitted all those officers. How could you acquit somebody of a crime like that? They were all taking turns beating Rodney King, and they got let off.
Mm-hmm.
And then L.A. went up in flames after that shit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you expect, man? You can't do this. But yeah, my deepest sympathies go out to his family and his girlfriend, more specifically, because you see the speech that she gave after he passed.
No, I didn't.
She was talking about how Kyren was such like a peaceful, respectful person, and she gave like this beautiful, like conversation about his life, and I just felt so horrible for her, you know. But yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a sad situation, and I don't know. I don't know why he, chose to, take his life or self-transition, but I can't help but think that some of these things are connected. I don't think that him facing, these charges of hit and run and essentially like vehicular homicide and all this stuff, it definitely didn't help his mental health.
No.
So I think, and knowing like if you watch the video, and I don't think this is necessarily new. I think this is probably what his lawyer was going to present in court, and it's probably just kind of hitting the internet now, just because the lawyer they're probably gearing up to do some sort of like civil lawsuit or something like that against the police department in Louisiana. But I think that this is probably what it would have looked like if he actually went in there. But I would imagine there's a lot of, when you're young, he's 20-something years old. He's, he probably has, a decent NIL, money coming in and things like that. And he's probably not really cut from that cloth. Like, he's probably not really a person that he was probably just a good football player. And, he wasn't, and I'm just piecing this together. He probably wasn't really around that type of like criminal activity, but he was just young and he liked probably driving fast and things like that, like nice things and stuff. And when this happened, it probably was a situation where, similarly to how that police officer coerced that man into thinking that he did something, he had Kyren Lacy had to turn himself in, and then he ended up, getting bail that same day. But it probably was a situation where when they questioned him, they kind of made him question himself,
Yeah.
And he's young. He probably don't really have much experience dealing with police officers and, what to say and what not to say. And he probably started to think like, dang, maybe I was doing what they said. Like, part of it was true, what they said, but it wasn't necessarily, he wasn't the reason why, the people ended up crashing.
Right.
But they probably talked to him in a way that made him feel like he did it. You know how they is. He have like the whole good cop, bad cop thing.
Yep.
And a lot of times those detectives and people that come into those rooms and question, the people that have done certain things, they're really good at their job. But at the same time, they're trying to arrest somebody for doing something. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're not really trying to find the truth. They're just trying to make sure that they pin somebody for some, criminal behavior or whatever the case may be. So that's probably what happened with him. He probably was dealing with a lot personally. And then, this was just the straw on the camel's back that just kind of tipped it over. So, man, rest in peace to that young man. It's unfortunate that it ended up like this, and I hope there's no way to get justice for this, but I do hope that there is some sort of lawsuit that comes with this, so that I wouldn't even say teach them a lesson, but there's just something to be said about what was done when with his case in his life.
Yeah, this shit can't happen. I think that what officers need to understand is like, this is not McDonald's. You can't put a batch of fries and burn them and get a new batch. You're dealing with people's lives. And the fact that you wanted to just, relegate this young man to, making him question himself and make him liable for something, not realizing the ramifications it would have. And then you sit there with your little hands crossed like, yeah, just make sure you put down like you had to avoid that. Like you had to avoid that car there. You had to do this and that. And it's like, bro, what is going to happen to this officer? I haven't seen him mention anything about this. Mm-hmm. Like you can't let this guy keep his job. You cannot let that happen. You cannot do that. Yeah. Like the thing is crazy is they crack down more on me as a truck driver than these officers. Mm-hmm. Like you shouldn't be able to motherfucking coerce and fabricate a story like that. Mm-hmm. Somebody lost their life. I can't make up anything. They got cameras that can see everything I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So if I fuck up, I'm going to prison. Period. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. There's going to be more developments. We'll probably be able to come back to this story. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not too much else besides this. This is like the new breaking news. Yeah. It's just too little too late. Somebody already lost their life, man. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else we could do but sit back and watch the system that failed this young man. Yeah. Hopefully they reward his family. We're talking like this is not some small lawsuit. We're talking $30 million. Mm-hmm. Like this is something that should get the book thrown at it. But you know what's fucked up about this? When the police fuck up like this, okay? This is why it's important that the police don't do this. When they do this, we the ones that got to pay them families back.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, there's no real ramifications. No. Right? The real ramifications, and I have heard from police officers, even like African-American police officers, about the chain of command, about what happens when people file, what do you call it? Like reports on different officers and stuff like that, file complaints. And they told me about the how they do their due diligence and stuff like that. And to me, it sounded like, and this is, a black man telling me this. This is not just somebody just, talking out the side of their head. He said, like, we definitely do our due diligence. We do our investigations, and there's like people above us that, kind of do investigations as well. So I do imagine that this is going through that type of thing right now. And obviously there's some, corruptness that is involved with police officers, and we're aware of that. But like you said, the biggest thing is like, unless somebody loses their jobs, there's not really any ramifications. But when that's the biggest thing. When you lose your pension, you lose your job, and you can't get hired anywhere else, that's the real consequences. When it's just the money, it's taxpayers' dollars, right? Same thing with with the school district, right? If you sue the school district, it's not like the school is personally paying for this. They're probably still going to get the same amount of budget and things like that. But it's just taxpayers' money that's, going to whatever family that, that wins the lawsuit. So, yeah.
Yeah, there is a dude, I listened to an episode of Soft White Underbelly probably about 2 weeks ago. And that's a show where they interview just people from vast, like cops and prostitutes and pimps. And there was an officer, black dude named Raymond Hicks. And his story is wild. Anybody listening to this podcast right now, go to Soft White Underbelly or just put in the title Soft White Underbelly, Raymond Hicks. It is one of the most just heartbreaking stories you'll ever hear from an officer that's trying to speak out against corruption. This officer, he excelled as an athlete, but as he got older, he went into law enforcement. And he started seeing some corruption, like they was taking drug money and all kind of stuff. And he's like, I can't be around y'all no more. I got to get out of here. So eventually one day he was at the house with his family, and a big old squad of, it wasn't FBI, I forgot who it was. They did like a bust and arrested him, and they said that he was selling drugs. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't. And eventually he got acquitted. He was in prison. He got in prison fights, everything, right? And one of the guys that was in prison with him was in his neighborhood when he was a kid. And they said, hey, I know he was an ex-cop, but he's solid, bro. Trust me. He's not guilty. Like, the dude spoke up for him, but he ended up getting in a fight and broke this dude's face all up. And he went from that to getting, finally, he had to put out like what do you call that when you take out on your home? He had to take, I guess, equity out of his home.
A lien or something?
Yeah, he took a what?
A lien.
Like a lien on his home or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he took money out and was able to get a lawyer that got him free. But even when he got free, he tried to apply to different police departments, and they wouldn't give him a job.
Damn.
and then they attempted again to plant evidence on him and lie again, and he got acquitted of 3 different cases. So the department was coming after him because he spoke out against corruption.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to tie all in is
that's a crazy story.
I feel horrible for officers that just want to do their job, and they see something and they say something and they get punished for it. So that's not okay, man. That is absolutely not okay. And I think that what this officer did, anybody that does something like this, it's not their first rodeo. You know, this is highly manipulative shit. You know, and especially I was having a conversation with this dude. He's 1 year younger than me. I'm not going to say any names, but he's trying to get in the PD. I'm not going to say which one, but obviously we live in Bakersfield. But he's going through this process. He's trying to get a job there, and he's like, I got a clean record and all this and that. And he's like, I stay like over on the east side. I guess they said like, hey, if we get you in there, you got to move from there immediately. And I told him, I said, honestly, they're taking a while to get you with the police department, but for a guy that grew up on the east side, that still lives on the east side, they should have gave you a job already. If you live in an area that has more crime and there's more of a probability of you to commit a crime and you haven't, you should have got that job yesterday. Think about it. Because there's people, I'm not saying they should just expedite the process, but at the same time, if it's just a drawn out, long ass process, it's like, come on, dude. If I'm living in an area that's crime ridden and I got a clean record, you don't think that's a reason to want to hire somebody like that?
I wouldn't connect those, but I would say if he does get the job, I think it would be great for him to be like still living there because he has that presence and he knows the community. You know what I mean?
They don't want him there.
So, but yeah, that's my thing. I just don't. I think that, you know, if he, whatever you live in, like, because that's the biggest thing. A lot of times these people are patrolling areas of communities that they don't live in. Like you got people that live in Seven Oaks and they driving down to the east side and they looking at everybody like a criminal or whatever, and it's an issue. But if you have somebody that lives like, you know, on the west side of town or the east side of town or whatever, or in the country, you know, and they have a relationship with these people, like I think it makes it better. It builds a relationship between the police officers and the people in the community to where like maybe, you know, if, you know, somebody is doing something wrong, he might give somebody a chance. Like, hey man, I'm not going to, you know, search you right now, but I suggest you go home, right? You know, like seeing a little kid out late at night or whatever, and, you know, just kind of give him that warning before, you know, something bad happens.
Yeah, there's some officers out there that still form good relationships with the community. There was this white dude that got a flat top. I think he was like an ex-military guy. And I forgot what state it was in, but like he got like a good relationship with the people in the community. And they was like, man, if you get arrested by a flat top, you fucked up. Like, you know, flat top.
Because he's just like a good dude.
Yeah, he's like a good dude, you know, but he's very firm, but he's a good dude.
Yeah.
And he said, if you get arrested by a flat top, man, you just fucked up, man.
Right,
like,
right.
You know, and this other white dude, his name is, they call him Officer, he's a bald-headed guy. And the community loves him. Officer Stanley, or I can't remember his name, but he's a well-known, decorated police officer.
Yeah.
And like he'll be walking around in the community with no squad car, just walking around. And all the kids like, oh, it's Officer Stanley. Like, and the parents and all the people be bringing him plates of food. He'd be in people's house eating and shit. And I was like,
but that's the thing. Like, it's not, you know, like when you have that type of relationship with the community, I think it makes people want to do better.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe there's a couple people that are still going to do what they're going to do.
Right.
But I imagine, like, if, say, for example, a police, which is weird because a lot of the squad cars, I think they have a facility or something over there by Martin Luther King Park.
Yeah, they did like a substation.
Yeah. So if, you know, if there was like more of a rapport with some of those people that be hanging out over there and the police officers, I think it would deter the kids, at least the kids, the younger generation. You could probably still save them from, you know, wanting to be in the gang and joining the gangs, or just, you know, wanting to do bad. When you're not like looking at the 5-0 like, you know, like F the police, like every time they roll by, and more slow, like, hey, how you guys doing today? Kind of thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think there should be more of a relationship. I remember this had to be like in 2005. My dad had a heated argument with like one of the neighbors in the apartment complex back in the day, and they called the police on me and my dad. Police came to our house, And I was like, what? I opened the door. I thought it was like somebody, the neighbor next door or something. It was the police. And I was like, you guys got the right house?
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah. He's like, we're looking for blah, blah, blah. And then my dad was like, who's that talking to my son? So to make a long story short, it was football season. And like 10 minutes later, you got these cops in our house. We all watching the football game together.
That's dope.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And the cops, like, they got a car, and they was like, fuck, man.
They had to leave?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it was just two cool guys.
Yeah.
I've had different experiences with the police. I've dealt with cops like that where they just guys trying to do a job, man.
Yeah.
And then I've had situations where I was like, hey, yeah, this motherfucker's racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've had, like I mentioned before, and I've had situations where I ended up apologizing to the police because I was tired of getting fucked with. One day, remember that day we were driving and I think we were going to the gym.
Yeah.
And he came from pulling somebody else over and got right behind us and pulled us over.
Yeah.
With no reason. He's like, he didn't even ask for like shit that made sense. It was not a traffic stop. He was just pulling us over for no reason.
He said probation or parole?
He said, are you on probation or parole? He didn't ask me for shit that you're supposed to ask for, like
or even tell us why we got pulled over.
Yeah, he didn't even tell us. He just figured like, oh, they're black, they're stupid, they don't know their rights. Parole or probation. I'm just like, neither. And then I gave him my information. I gave him my license.
Yeah.
And then he like looked at it. He didn't even go to his squad car.
Yeah.
He just took my license, looked at it, gave it back, and said, you're good to go.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I think he was like, all right, he's one of the good ones. Let him go.
Nigger.
Sprinkle some crack on him.
Sprinkle some crack on him.
Yeah. I remember recently I got stopped, but my window was really dark. Whenever I get stopped by the police, I look for any infraction that I could be guilty of. So for example, the windows on my truck, they're blacked out. That's illegal. That's not legal. So I was like, fuck, they got me. Right. So he pulls me over, and before he could get to my car or to my truck, I had my windows rolled down and I had my license out the motherfucking window. And then he like took it from my hand and he like looked at me like, okay, but your windows are really dark. You have your registration and your insurance? I was like, yeah, here it is right here. He's like, all right, give me a second. Like I disarmed him before he could even have any curiosities.
Yeah. I've definitely had, I would say majority run-ins where I haven't actually had like a bad experience with police. So me personally, I'm never going to be the one that's like, like kind of like bashing the police. Not for like my own personal experience. Obviously, I've seen situations where police kill people or whatever the case may be. But for me, I've had majority of those situations where I remember I was driving my friend's truck home one day, and I forgot what happened. I might have forgot. I don't know if it might have been like the turning signal or whatever, like the light bulb might have been out or whatever. I was making a left, and then I got pulled over, and I was like, dang, this is not even my car. Like I don't really know where everything is and whatever.
Fuck.
So yeah, he pulled me over, and he was like, hey, like license, registration, all that good stuff, and I gave him my license. I was like I don't really. All right, so yeah, basically we had a slight malfunction there. But I was telling a story where I was in Nevada, and I was driving my friend's car, and I got pulled over, and the police officer asked for license and registration, and I only had my license, so I gave him my license, and then I told him, I was like, hey, this is my friend's car. Like I think I was looking through stuff and I only seen like old registration and stuff like that, and then he looked at my license and he was like, all right, man, you're good to go. And then he just kind of let me, go. So those are like, for the most part, those are my experiences with police officers. And I'm not a criminal. I just kind of follow the law.
Same here. But I've had some disgusting situations with the police as well. I think the worst one that I've ever had was about 2006. It was me, my homie Levante, and my homie Nick. And we came from my homeboy Meech's house, and we was just pre-gaming over there. We was about to go out. And I think we was going to like a house party or something, because that's when we was real young. And we were going to the car, and we just heard this voice like, hey, come here now. Yeah, you over there, come here now. And we was just like, oh, they ain't talking to us. So we kept walking. He's like, hey. So then the cop starts jogging towards us. And then we all stop and look at him. He's like, all three, you come here now. So then he gets behind us, and we're walking, And then we was like, what's going on? He's like, just be quiet and walk. So he's behind us. We don't know if this motherfucker's got a gun out or whatever's going on. We were just quiet. So we walk over there and we get sat down on, my right-handed guy. We get sat down on a curb with probably at least like over 20 different black guys on a curb. And we get sat down. There's probably about 10 police cars blocking the street. The lights are all on. And we like, what's going on? So we get put in a lineup. I guess somebody had like a house break-in, and they just was finding anybody that could
black
be
man,
any black person that could be a suspect. And the way that he was talking about like people was just the most unprofessional, vile, disgusting shit. I wish I knew his name. He was a piece of fucking shit. And the guy was basically, he was talking about some girl in the neighborhood, and he was like, you familiar with so-and-so? And he was like, nah, I don't know. And he was talking about, oh yeah, she's dirty, man. Everybody's fucking her. She's a slut. He was talking about that to. He was saying that to one of the guys that was sitting on the curb with us.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, why is an officer talking about some young person being a slut?
That's weird.
First of all, which is weird. Second of all, the person that was actually the victim of a break-in, the police was speaking to her like in a loud, like very aggressive voice. And she was like very animated because she was scared. And her brother ended up coming around the corner like, hey, why you talking to my sister like that? And they just grabbed him and threw him against the fucking wall. You know the stuff they put on apartments? It's not like putty, but it's like this crumbly type material.
Yeah.
They hit him so hard on the wall, the fucking material came off the wall. They threw him on the ground and arrested him for saying, hey, why you talking to my sister like that? And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, this is going to be a long night.
Yeah.
So we sat there quiet. Then the cop comes back and asks us questions. He's like, he's like, you guys play sports or what? I was like, I used to play football. He's like, where'd you go? And I told him BHS. He said, so you're a big motherfucker, huh? You're a big motherfucker. And then I was just like, huh? And then my homie Levante went to Highland. And he was like, so would you play sports? He said, I used to run track. Oh, so you're a fast motherfucker, huh? You're fast. And then the homie Nick was over there just crying. Nick is crying. So I think the cop picked up from that moment that these three guys don't got shit to do with the way that we've got everybody here. So we gave him all of our licenses, and then he like gave it back. He's all right, you guys are free to go.
Yeah.
But
what'd y'all do after that?
Shit, we went home after that.
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't going to no function. This is a bad night.
Yeah.
I know some people that like some of my friends that in that era they would have still went to the party.
Bro. And then I've had a couple situations where it was just blatantly racist. It was me, my homie Tristan, and shout out to my homie Kinsey. But we were going to like a house party. This had to be like 05, I think, like late 05. And the homie Tristan just had like a red shirt on, like a red hat. It was like at the time where people just like wore red. I don't know why red was like cool. But anyways, the cop pulled over the car, and the homie Kinsey had lived out in all those brand new housing developments. Like, it's a really nice house way out in, like, I think it was in where was he living by? Was it near Liberty or something? I can't remember. But he was way out in some new housing developments, right? And anyways, cop pulls us over and like, what are you guys doing out here? And he was like, I live out here. And he looked at me, he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing in this neighborhood? Like, really mad at us. Like, and I was just like confused. Like, huh? Like, he lives there. He lives right over there. And then they took his license, and then the cop went from being all aggressive. He's like, all right, get the hell out of here. And I'm like, this motherfucker's just racist. He sees these three young black men in an area, and he thinks that we don't live there, like we're out there to commit crimes.
Right.
When this is like my homie lives in a working class family, right? So I've had those situations, and I've had other ones. I don't know where this conversation went, but it's to basically say that the police that move like the guy that was in Kyren Lacy's situation is the type of officer that we don't need on any fucking force.
Right.
You got to get that guy off the force, and you got to start making these officers pay these families back, because I ain't taking no more of my taxpaying money.
Yeah.
To pay these fucking families back when you're the guy that caused this shit. Yeah, the apology is insufficient at this point. They might just let him apologize and give him like paid administrative. Like, no, don't pay this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just put him on leave with suspend him for a month with no pay. You know, if you're gonna bring that motherfucker back, don't bring him back with paying. I'm not paying that guy.
Yeah.
No. But anyways, I think we've exhausted this topic. We go ahead and move on. Switching gears, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, it says his ex landed a $160K City Hall gig is releasing an all-tell book. To make a long story short, Mayor Adams was paying his side piece to give him some pussy, and he used taxpayers' money to do it. Gave her a position that was a no-show. It was a no-show position that she had to show up to. Just to give this, all she had to do was give up ass, and she's hot, by the way. Not that matters, but it's this politician's got to stop this shit. You've been given a great deal of power, and when you take advantage of that, the American people shouldn't trust you anymore. Like, not at all, right? Obviously, we don't live in New York, but Newsom has done some shit that I don't agree with either. It says Eric Adams' hands trembled as he beckoned his girlfriend Jasmine Ray into the Brooklyn Borough Hall office in early 2016 to give her fateful news. The up-and-coming borough president, with whom Ray had to share a 2-year relationship that blossomed into deeper intimacy than the very office. She said she needed space to pursue something greater. He was breaking up with me, and I felt my soul leave my body. Ray recounted in a tell-all book set to come out Sunday, a copy of which was obtained by the Post. So she's doing a tell-all book. What I don't like about these tell-all books, it's just a money grab. Like, you're doing a tell-all about what? Being a side chick? What is there to talk about?
Well, that's usually what happens when the money gets cut off, right?
Yeah.
That's when, you got to make some money. So you want to tell the spiciest stories and hope that it's like you get a book deal from Simon & Schuster or whatever, and hopefully it's a New York Times bestseller, and that's the only way you can get paid when you don't really have no talent outside of looking attractive.
This is crazy, and it's sad. She's 42 years old, by the way.
Oh, she's 42?
She's super sexy. I ain't gonna lie. I probably would pay for it too. Anyway, not only details their decade-old relationship, which unfolded long before he became mayor, and appointed her as his city's first director of Mayor's Office of Sports, Wellness, and Recreation, but also a slew of other revelations about Adams' seldom-seen private life. So he gave her a position. And because he removed her from it and the money was not there, then she told. I mean, that says a lot about your position. The only reason why anybody would buy your book is because they already have confirmation bias against Mayor Adams and they don't like him. So they say, hey, let's go buy a book from a chick that he was buying pussy from and let's just read it for no reason.
Yeah.
I just stop it. It's no different than what's that chick that had a tell-all book? What's the damn it? Brittany Renner.
Oh yeah. She talk about Colin Kaepernick and stuff.
It's like, what is this trash? It's just trash. It's not even like come on, man.
Yeah, I just think when it comes to Mayor Adams, he just got too much going on.
He got too much.
To be a mayor of a town, you should have a clean slate. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have all these weird indictments and he's been indicted before. He had another sexual assault lawsuit. He just got too much going on to be the mayor of a city. So but this is kind of falling in line. But I will say, like, she's definitely taking advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because she probably talked to a publisher or a manager or something like that, and it's like, hey, I got all this information, and this is like a bombshell of a story, and she's trying to capitalize off of the momentum, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna stick. I think for me personally, like, I think New Yorkers are more connected to Eric Adams just because that's kind of obviously their mayor. But I feel like if Karen Go had these type of allegations,
it'd be over.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Karen Go out here paying for male prostitutes or something like that.
She'd be out of there quick. I think that there's not a whole lot to say here. I just think that whenever you become a man of high position, I think it's important to have some type of discipline outside of just what you do.
Yes.
Because it's just like with the Shannon Sharp situation. He got tricked out of his position by a 19-year-old OnlyFans model. He lost so much money from that shit.
Man.
I don't think there's, as a man, especially single, you're a human being, and if you want to have sex, there's nothing wrong with that. Even if you want to pay for it. Go ahead and pay for it. But at least pay a professional. And what I mean by a professional is at least go through the right channels to find a escort or escort service where it is confidential. But when you go to the OnlyFans, bro, what do you think's gonna happen? When you're just messing with the chick on the side that took a position to get paid $160K a year, you think that she's not gonna tell on you when that money runs out?
Yeah.
Bro, she probably was going on all kinds of trips, posting so many motivational quotes. She posting all these motivational quotes and ain't done shit but lay on her back. Like, that's the thing, bro. Like, you know what's crazy? I think that the cat is out the bag. If you guys know anybody that's always posting like these different trips, like they're at Dubai, they're in the Amazon, they're here, they're there, and they ain't got no job you know about, they selling pussy.
Right.
I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. And we all know these people. I'm not going to say any names, but the people that be like in Hawaii right here, then they over here, and it seems like all they do is travel. And all of the videos and all of the stuff is kind of close together and ain't no jobs involved. Yeah, man. It's some sex exchange for goods. That's
the thing that's been going on for a while.
It's been going on, yeah.
I
I didn't believe it at first. I was like, no, ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody having sex for that. Nobody, like, you don't want to believe that people are prostituting. You just like, nah, that's for people on Union Avenue selling it on the streets.
Right.
Like, they don't do that. Nope, I was wrong. Because there's been a lot of OnlyFans models that talked about like how much escorting was being done with Instagram models. When Instagram first started popping off, they said a lot of these huge platforms, they was all selling it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's believable. I mean, I think anywhere where there's like attractive women and there's an opportunity to make some money. And I think what happens with the women, they kind of get drawn into it because, you know, their main talent is probably just being attractive. So when it comes to, you know, taking advantage of that, they probably start out by taking little sexy photos, and then that transitions into some dude from, you know, Saudi Arabia, you know, trying to get them to come so they could, you know, pee on them and whatnot.
That's in Dubai. Basically Saudi.
Yeah. I mean, they got money in Saudi Arabia too.
Yeah. There's like, oh, your face looks so beautiful. I want to shit on it. Yeah, there was a girl that was on, I forgot she was doing an interview. She said, I had a friend and she was going to Dubai, and, you know, whenever she came back, she was always lit. Like, she was lit when she came back. She was buying me stuff and getting me bags. And I was like, shit, girl, I want to go with you. You out there having fun turning up. But when I tried to get on the plane with her, she told me no. And then she told me what she did for the money. And I was like, oh, my God, bitch, you nasty.
That's funny.
And it's like, come on, man. It was girls out there getting shitted on for $50,000.
God dang.
Look here.
Disgusting.
What I'm not going to do is say that there should be a dollar price for you getting shitted on. But $50,000 ain't enough. $50,000 ain't enough to get shat on. If it was like $500,000, I'd be like, that's still crazy. But, I mean, it is $500,000.
Yeah.
They getting pooped and peed on.
Yeah.
And she was saying it's people you wouldn't think that's doing it.
Yeah.
There was an interview on Brilliant Idiots way back in the day. I forgot her name, but it's this Dominican. She's like a Dominican chick, but she does like camera work. But she said she got offered a contract to go out to Dubai and get shat on, and she had like the literal terms in there.
God dang.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Sick world, man.
I mean, it's a sick world, but I think what it is those people out there in Dubai, those guys, they're like, they probably get off on that. They're not even having relations with these girls. They're just shitting on them.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's what money, when you get money, you just kind of, you're interested in different things, I guess.
Can you imagine being a guy and you just ate a bunch of Raisin Bran and you like, oh, I love these beautiful American women. Let me see if I could get this one.
Yeah.
And you like, they probably get off on seeing somebody maybe on a reality TV show where they know they're only making so much money, and then they tell them like, hey, $500,000, you know, $700,000. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I bet you it's gonna be some dudes getting shitted on too one day. It probably has been some.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, man. Don't be surprised. All of a sudden, you know, Lil Nas X come back. And niggas got a gold car, completely in gold. Like, oh, man. Somebody done shitted on Nas. God damn. Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures of Jasmine Ray here. I'm just seeing who she is. Man. Sheesh.
Talking about Eric Adams.
Eric Adams, man, you got good taste, man. You got good taste. You just went about it wrong, man.
Yeah. I guess we don't know if it's true, too, you know. That's the thing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. She looks like a very truthful person.
How can you tell?
She got a big booty, man. Women with big booties do not tell lies. They do not lie, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, there's that, man. Mary Adams, get it together. Switching gears. Ice Cube. Ice Cube's tour bus got bombed. Lots of fire, lots of flames, and a melted bus. Rapper Ice Cube's tour bus catches fire downtown Portland. Investigation underway. Ice Cube's tour bus caught fire downtown Portland. The rapper's comments suggest he believes it was intentional as investigators seek video footage. The incident occurred when Portland Fire and Rescue crews responded to a tour bus with the front passenger tire aflame. Crews gained access to the interior and ventilated all the smoke in the bus. Ice Cube was scheduled to perform at the Moda Center in September 22nd as a part of the Truth to Power tour in Portland. Ice Cube comments suggest he believes the fire was intentional. I'm not taking this accident as a personal attack. A coward like that would burn anybody's property that was out there at the time, Ice Cube told KGW in a statement. Okay. There was some satire. I guess it was some right-wing outlets to try to say it was Antifa because they thought it was a bus for ICE because it said Ice Cube on it, and they figured it was. And that's like, okay. And there were people that were running with it. Like, there were people who were literally like saying, like, yeah, it's apparently the liberals thought that it was ICE, and it was an ICE detention bus, but it's for Ice Cube. And it's like, bro, stop. I don't think anybody believed that shit. It clearly says Ice Cube on the side of the goddamn bus.
Yeah, that makes the Antifa just look ignorant. You know? Yeah, I think people could delineate ICE from Ice Cube.
Yeah,
I think it's a good joke, though, like the comedian says.
There's got to be somebody out here dumb enough, though. They see the bus, it's like Ice Cube. Are they changing their names now? Motherfuckers!
Why are you adding a cube to it?
Yeah, you think you're gonna you think you're just gonna change my mind with the cube? It's like, you fucking idiot. But people are idiots, man. That, like, there are people out here that was swallowing Tide Pods.
Right.
And for the first time in my life, I was doing my laundry, and I turned that bag around, and it said, "Please do not ingest." They have to tell you not to eat a motherfucking Tide Pod.
Right.
That's how we live in a crazy country, man.
Right. Yeah.
People with a Tide Pod, like, dude, that's like, you're poisoning yourself. People was drinking bleach. I remember the president slipped up and said something like, I don't know, maybe bleach will kill it. I'm not sure. And motherfucker was trying to drink bleach.
Right. Trying to cure COVID.
I'm like, man, I can't believe people. It's a scary time. It's a scary time when the motherfuckers drinking bleach and putting Tide Pods. They trying to do their laundry from the inside out. The fuck are you thinking, man? Man.
Yeah. Nah, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't think there's too much to say about this, but I do think I think the misinformation that was being spread is like very ignorant, you know? Yeah, I think people were running to the internet trying to make the left look bad because, you know, they're saying this, you know, and it was all literally just made up, you know, because the police officers don't even have enough information, especially at the time. They didn't even have enough information at the time to say what it was or what it wasn't. And I know for me, like, people were, a person told me the story in that way. Like, hey, you know, they bombed Ice Cube, and guess what? They were saying that, you know, it was Antifa because they thought it was an ICE bus, you know, something like that. And I was like, I was like, what? And I kind of questioned it too. I was like, what? That sounds like a joke. Like, it sounds like a punchline. He's like, no, it's true. And, you know, I didn't really, you know, and mind you, it was during work, so I didn't really do my due diligence. But when I'm hearing it, I'm like, that doesn't really sound right. Like, it just sounds kind of stupid. But then when you find out that it was all made up, it's like, oh, okay. And then, you know, I think bigger than all this, I'm just glad Ice Cube is okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm glad, you know, him or, you know, anybody else wasn't hurt by this situation or, whatever, because, that just would be tragic. But
you imagine that bus was on fire with him in there? Mm-hmm. Hold on a minute. It's getting hot in here. Hey, who was that? Hey, put that lighter down. Hey, man, we got to get out of here. It's like, oh, man. They done got this nigga done turned into doughboy on this damn bus.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Ice Cube.
Yeah, man. Ice Cube, man, you're rich. You got to get one of those flame retardant buses next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, switching gears. Tilly Norwood, AI actor sells representation. Let me go ahead. We got a little video to really describe this here. All right. 1 second.
Notice how it's only white majority. A new actress may be hitting the big screen, but here's the catch. She's not real. Meet Tilly Norwood. She is an AI-generated actress, and she is the first creation from a new studio that develops AI actors. Now, this is causing quite a stir in Hollywood. You may remember back in 2023, the actors' strike. Artificial intelligence was a central issue during that strike, and the union that represents actors is speaking out against Tilly, saying they are against the replacement of human performers by synthetics. Now, meanwhile, the creator of Tilly is a Dutch comedian and actor, and she says Tilly is not meant to replace actors. She is a work of art meant to spark conversation. While many in the industry are pushing back against the AI actress, some say it was only a matter of time before someone like Tilly hit the scene.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. We have to push back. I think that what's happening is AI is deeper than just acting. It's they're trying to infiltrate every different type of occupation. When it comes to trucking, they've got some trucks that are already autonomous. There's not very many of them, but they've got some that have ran some loads out in Texas. So eventually they want to get drivers out of trucks because they know that drivers need vacations, drivers need 10-hour, resets, drivers need, they call out sick. But a robot is not ever or AI or robots, they're never going to take a day off. Mm-hmm. And they know that. And the people that are at the top, I think it's like 10%. There's 10% that have 67% of the wealth. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. That's disgusting. Mm-hmm. That means everybody else ain't got shit.
Right.
Which is wild, bro. Mm-hmm. But these same companies, conglomerates want to completely replace human beings. And I think that there's certain things you can't do, especially movies. Anytime you see an AI-generated movie, don't watch that shit. Do not watch it. Do not. Because eventually what's going to happen is they want us to be like cattle. They want us to be consumers of things rather than the ones that are creating. Mm-hmm. Right? Because they know they could get ChatGPT to come up with a script. Right? ChatGPT is going to look at all the scripts ever written and use those scripts to create some other script. And then they're going to use AI actors and they're just going to start creating movies.
Right.
Can you imagine if they did like an Avengers type movie, but they use AI created people rather than getting Robert Downey Jr. or whoever else? Mm-hmm. And they create these movies. And imagine the movie's good. That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine they just coming out with freaking Fast and Furious movies every year because it's all AI.
And they could do it super fast.
Can you imagine an AI Ludacris? I'm too fast for y'all. It's like, didn't Ludacris die 200 years ago?
Dang, his likeness is still in the movies.
That'd be crazy, man. You never know.
Yeah. I seen a thing. It was some studio. I forget what studio it was. Maybe Warner Brothers or something. It might have been something else. But essentially, they were trying to create a AI software that will create stories for them. But the problem was, like you were saying, you have to put information into the AI software or whatever, or algorithm, in order for it to spit back out, some sort of movie. So what they tried to do is try to put all the best movies that they've ever made, all the 90% on the Rotten Tomatoes, like all these movies in there. And then they try to have it produce, with simple prompts. They try to generate concepts and stuff for, I think I'll have to pull up the article again, but I think they were trying to create like storylines for subsequent like films and stuff like that.
Right.
They started running into trouble because they realized that, the AI was not spitting out like quality stories, right? And that's the issue that they were running into. And they were saying like they just didn't have enough stories. Like you need thousands and thousands and thousands of stories. And it's not even that many. It's not enough stories created in general for, especially quality stories created in general for it to like have enough information to be able to produce at a high level. So that's the issue that they were running into. So with that being said, I think from a creative standpoint, this AI actor, I think that in general business should progress. Like we should not have to walk to school anymore because we have cars, right? So there was a time where we were riding horses around or carriages or whatever. And that's just the way we were moving. And then cars came around and then, whatever. And that's just how life goes. So we have to be able to kind of roll with the punches in that sense. But I think when it comes to the creative world, when you have like, arts that are supposed to be generated by human, there's like a tangible experience that you're trying to remove from the arts. And I think that's very sick, because there are people that I know, actors that are working regular jobs and then they're acting in commercials on the side or getting paid $300 here and $400 here to do a small role or traveling, to different places. And then not to mention not only the people that are in front of the screen, but the people that are behind the screen, the people that are like the production assistants on the show, or the people that are, the producers or the associate producers and all these people that are, this kind of collaborative effort that gets paid. I do think that like Hollywood films are very bloated, like there are some like $200-300 million films. And then there's a lot of people working and, I think there's a way to kind of like streamline that process. And I don't know what that looks like. I think that Tyler Perry does a version of it, but I don't think the quality of his movies is like, very high. He kind of looks like he streamlines the process. But I think that there's a version of it that, that can not cost $200 million. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think that this Tilly Norwood thing is like, it's a sick joke. And I think for the person that created it to say like it's a conversation piece is not. No, that's not real.
They're trying to sneak it by you to see how much we allow that shit.
Yeah, they want this to be a thing. And because they were trying to make it sound like this person was trying to get actual jobs, like, to be in commercials and things like that. And it's just weird. And I know for me, aesthetically, I know that it's something I would never be able to get with. I'm starting to hear what AI sounds like.
Yes.
If that makes sense. No, there's these prompts or these voiceovers that are like running rampant on the internet. And I get it from a certain standpoint because as an independent creator, let's say I have, a clothing brand or something like that. And I want to do like a really cool commercial, but I don't have the budget to spend like $5,000 to get actors and a cinematographer and a screenwriter to write the prompts and all that. I don't really have all that money. So, maybe I shoot it and try to save a few $100s on the voiceover. So I put the prompt into some AI thing and, spend $20 a month. And then it'll spit out a thing. But you hear it, like, and I'm hearing the same, like, lame voice, the deep, kind of rugged, Southern voice that are doing these voiceovers. And I can tell, like, the voice doesn't really have any soul. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. And I'm starting to see there's another
monotone AI voice.
Yeah, I'm starting to see, like, this other commercial. I think they're doing, like, cryptocurrency or something like that. And it's all AI, like they're like these 8-second clips of like different AI scenes and different AI actors. And I'm just like, you will be better served. And this is me probably being like an old head, or, being like really passionate about like the human experience. But when I see that, it just makes me sick because it's not real.
Yeah, I think that they try to. This ain't the first shit they've done. They try to sneak it by us with that. We talked about him years ago. His name is that AI rapper FN Mecca.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting canceled because he was saying nigga.
Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious. But they literally try to sneak it by us. That this is not like a one off. Like even remember recently Timberland.
Yeah,
I guess he had signed like some AI artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some bullshit they doing. It says an AI rap artist, a virtual musician, like the controversial FN Mecca created and promoted by a music company, Factory New, to analyze popular music and generate its own lyrics. These digital personas, often avatars, aim to replicate the styles and personas of human artists, sometimes featuring human voices for their songs. While some AI artists have gained large followings on platforms like TikTok and signed by major labels, first of all, I don't trust that. Gain major attention on TikTok. I think that these labels could create a bunch of profiles and get people to, like get a campaign around these fake AI artists and make people think that these like artists are popping. And a lot of times people just subscribe. They can't think for themselves. So now you're making a fucking AI artist popular instead of like your cousin who also raps. It's embarrassing. But it says, while some AI artists have gained large followings on platforms like TikTok and signed by major labels, they have also faced criticism for promoting racial stereotypes and are a complex topic of debate in the music and technology industries. Yeah, when I seen FN Mecca saying nigga, I'm like, oh, no, we got to take this. You got to take this. It says AI rapper created by Factory, designed as a black male cyborg avatar. It's like, nah, bro. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah. Kalani came out recently and talked about different AI artists. And, Russ also. But they were just saying, it's a ploy to, I get it from a business standpoint. I think business is always a way where you're not necessarily trying to cut corners, but you're trying to find ways to cut costs, right? And, in terms of art, it doesn't really work because there's a certain humanity that art requires, there's writing a prompt inside of an artificial intelligence and telling it to spit out, something is not, I don't think it's intended to replace a human. I think it's intended to assist people. You know what I mean? Help you with your grammar, help you brainstorm, concepts for podcasts, help you, organize your thoughts. You know what I mean? I think that that's what it's great for. I don't think it's intended for you to replace a human being, and that's kind of what they're trying to do. So I don't know. I can see there's an interesting thing going on here. And I can see this. I love that the unions are fighting for the human experience still, whether the actors or the screenwriters, because, if they don't do it, then these big businesses are going to try to find a way they're going to try to find a way to get rid of the screenwriters and the actors and the directors and the cinematographers, and everything is going to be computer generated. And we're going to be the only old heads that's still watching, movies with humans in them. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see. One thing I'll say before we shut it down is I forgot the program name, but there was basically like, imagine you're studying for this specific course of study, right? Like it's this chemical engineering or something, right? They were able to put the name of the book in there, and literally it turned it into a podcast between a female and male host that described the chapters of the book. And just like me and you were talking, it was like, yeah, and the chemical compounds they don't really make sense. They've been questioned about this before, and the other co-host is like, yeah, they have. A peer review said that this and this, and it turns into a fucking podcast. And I was like, this is scary.
Yeah, it is, man.
This is scary because they got two people talking, and the little brief thing that I heard, I was like, this is actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
This is scary. Once you start seeing AI generated podcasts, that means they fucking podcasting up.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know what it looks like for us. I don't know what it looks like, because at one point in time, computers were taking people's jobs, right?
Right.
And to me, I always thought it was like just business, cashiers and, delivery drivers and things like that. I didn't think it would come to a place where art is being generated by non-humans, and that's where we're at. So that's kind of how like pretty much everybody's job is in jeopardy outside of the people, even the coders, right? Because there's AI software that can generate codes and they can find bugs in codes and stuff like that. So I don't really know who's going to have a job. They even have like AI, school, like I think teachers will always be around because I was just talking to this about one of my coworkers. Like, we'll always have a job because some people have to go to work, right? So in order for people to go to work, they need their kids to be gone somewhere from 8 to 3 or 9 to whatever every day, so that they can go make a living. But outside of that, most of these jobs are I think everybody should be questioning what the future is of their career and what the future will look like in terms of what industry they're in, because no one ever thought like automated cars would be a thing, and trucks and things like that, but that's what it looks like now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's inevitable, but I think the technology before was created to expedite the process of things and help us, but now it's being created to fucking replace us. That's a whole nother conversation.
Nah, I think both are true. I think both are like, from the beginning of time, like people have been massive, like people have lost jobs, because of new inventions and things like that. And this is just the latest of that kind of thing. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's just more blatant now. I think they're dipping their toes in the industries that you wouldn't think they'd be doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it's getting a problem. And I think it started with these damn sex toys, man. It's bad, man. I think in the next 10, 15 years, we're going to be fucking robots.
Yeah.
It's bad, man. It's bad. You think it's bad? Like, right now, we got a problem. A lot of men and women just not seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
Imagine you come home and now your wife is dealing with robot Tyrone.
Dang, yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Like, I programmed Tyrone, and I don't need you here no more.
Right.
And they'd be like, all right, nigga, you can leave the house now. And you'd be like, dang.
Dang.
I'm about to pour some water on this motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, I could see a world where that is, and that kind of becomes like a gray area, when it comes to like people's relationship. Or maybe they just, stand together, when they probably should be divorced or whatever, and their relationship is not good. There's no sexual chemistry or nothing going on, but they stay married, but they just got their own versions of
you already
AI.
got these dildos doing the Millie Rock.
Yeah.
AI dildo? That's the next right there.
Somebody that'll validate you and, all these things. Like it talks to you like ChatGPT.
He's like, you are powerful. The future is female.
Yeah. He's like, you have the wettest pussy in the world.
Oh, no, it'd be like, clock it. Or it's like asking them questions like, what's the tea for today? It's like, dang.
How was your day?
Yeah, nobody trying to hear about y'all day like that. All right, man, let's get out of here. All right, thank you. If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for listening. I just forgot we were talking about these goddamn sex toys. It fucked me up. Jesus Christ. If you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Finks.
We're out of here.
Peace.